Another mystery buried deep in
For
the
decades, whispers of a bottomless pit in the Washington wilderness have captured imaginations and sparked endless speculation. Locals call it Mel's Hole, a place where the laws of nature seem to unravel, and where science and the supernatural collide. Stories of strange lights, bizarre phenomena, and a mystery without end have kept this legend alive. But the truth has always slipped just out of reach. Until now. What researchers claim to have uncovered about this mysterious chasm is as unsettling as it is extraordinary, and it might just change everything we thought we knew about the world beneath our feet. Join us as we journey into the chilling enigma of Mel's Hole and uncover the revelations that could rewrite the very fabric of reality. When Mel bought a piece of land in the distant wilderness of Washington state, he found something amazing. Mel bought the property from an elderly couple who had owned it for more than 30 years. He had no idea that the property had a strange secret that would soon get a lot of attention around the world. One day, while Mel was looking around his new home, he saw a strange round hole in the ground. The pit was roughly 9 feet wide, and the stone wall went down about 15 feet below the surface.
Named Mel, I think it was Mel Waters is his name. He bought this land in central Washington.
Mel was curious and attempted numerous ways to estimate the hole's depth, but he couldn't find the bottom. He observed several strange things about it when he looked into it more. He never heard anything hit the bottom of the pit, even when he dropped things like a fishing line with a roll of Lifesavers candies on it. The hole seemed to consume everything without a trace, leaving behind a strange silence. Mel did further experiments since he was interested in the mystery. He even used a fishing line with a large lead weight on it in the hopes of getting to the bottom. He was shocked that the weight never impacted anything substantial. Mel said he had spent 80,000 feet of fishing line and never found the bottom. Animals acting strangely near the hole added to the mystery. Mel saw that his dogs wouldn't go near it, which was strange because they were scared and didn't want to get close it. This dislike spread to all the animals in the vicinity, and neighbors said their pets had the same problems. People in the area heard about Mel's find, and the hole became renowned as a location to throw away things they didn't want. People in the area would throw their trash into the pit, which seemed to go on forever, but it never filled up. Some people even said they have thrown dead pets down the pit, only to subsequently see those same animals running through the woods. Art Bell, the host of the famed late-night radio show Coast to Coast AM, was interested in Mel's story. In 1997, Mel went on the show to tell his amazing story to a fascinated audience. People were quite interested in the strange hole because it went against what we know about physics. As Mel's narrative spread, it got people talking and interested. People from different walks of life came up with ideas on where the hole came from and what it was for. Some people thought it could be a door to another dimension or the underworld. Others speculated it might be the result of extraordinary technology from an old civilization, or perhaps a secret government project. Mel Waters' appearance on Coast to Coast AM in 1997 was a key event in what would later be called the Mel's Hole phenomena. The show, which was hosted by the famous Art Bell, looked into strange and otherworldly events that couldn't be explained. It drew a significant audience. Listeners were very interested in and speculated about Mel's interview. Mel talked about finding the strange hole on his land and the first tests he did to see how deep it was during his first appearance. He said he dropped a 1,500-foot fishing line with a roll of Lifesavers candy on it into the hole, but it never reached the bottom. He utilized 80,000 feet of fishing line without once reaching solid ground, which is amazing. Mel painted an image of a mystery that couldn't be explained by describing the hole's peculiar features, like how quiet it was when things fell into it and how animals acted around it. He told stories about neighbors throwing trash and dead pets into the pit, but when they looked for them, they couldn't discover any signs of them. This made the mystery even more interesting. People who listened to Art Bell were fascinated and called in with their own ideas about what the hole was. Some people thought it might be a door to another realm or the underworld. Some others thought it might be the outcome of a secret government experiment or the work of an old, advanced culture. Some of the people who called in with theories gave more practical ones, asking whether the fishing line had just touched the bottom without Mel knowing it, or if the weight of the line made it feel like it would never end. But Mel's confidence and the amazing depth he said he had measured made it impossible to completely ignore his account. The comments of the listeners showed how powerful Mel's story was, making people curious and interested in the unknown. The thought of a bottomless hole that broke the rules of physics and nature was both scary and interesting. It made us question what we thought we knew about reality, and hinted at something amazing that was buried below the surface. The first time Mel was on Coast to Coast AM was only the start. He talked about the hole and the surroundings around it in more odd ways on following appearances on the show. Mel said that the hole gave off a weird warmth that was different from the temperature around it. He also talked about accounts of a strange black beam of light that sometimes shot up from the hole into the sky. People who lived nearby and truck drivers who passed by saw it. These fresh facts simply added to the mystery and made people wonder even more. People began to relate Mel's hole to other strange things, like UFO sightings and old stories about portals to other worlds. Many people were fascinated by the concept that the hole might lead to something we don't know about. Every fresh piece of information added to the mystery, making people want to hear the next part of the narrative of Mel's hole. Mel went to Ellensburg hoping to discover the person who had bought a matching belt buckle from him years before. He found a 1943 dime, which was a year when dimes didn't have Roosevelt's picture on them. This dime has a B on it, which is not a letter that is normally found on coins from any U.S. minting city. The owner of the coin took it to a coin dealer who couldn't explain where it came from and offered a lot of money to buy it. The Treasury Department took the coin, nevertheless, before a choice could be made. Richard Charles Hoagland, a theorist in hyperdimensional physics, thought that the coin might have come from another universe because of this strange event. Mel's ex-wife departed without a trace, which only added to the mystery. He couldn't get in touch with the current state of his old property or its caretakers. As Mel told his narrative, some people started to doubt it and thought it was getting more and more unlikely. But a new twist in his talk with Art sparked curiosity again. Mel asked about Terra Server, a collection of aerial and satellite images that is open to the public. It started in December 1997, 8 months after Mel's first radio show. Before Google Earth, Mel told Art's audience in 2002 that his old house seemed to have disappeared from public images. This piqued their interest. After a commercial break, a satellite scan showed that Mel's claim might be more believable than first assumed. Art also said that a camera crew from a TV show had seen what looked like military activity in Ellensburg after Mel's first interview. Mel added interesting stories to the story. A trucker friend remembered bringing fiber optic equipment to a facility near Ellensburg, where a group of Israelis got it. Another truck driver said he had brought high-tech tools from the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in San Francisco to the same warehouse. Mel thought it was worth emphasizing that Lawrence Livermore works on military projects and that he had ended up in San Francisco after being kidnapped. Someone asked Art how likely it is that one person will find 2 bottomless pits in their lifetime. Mel said he had located a second one, even if it seemed unlikely. Coast to Coast AM was very popular in the western U.S., especially with people who liked to learn about strange things. Mel was a keen listener, and Native Americans in Nevada were interested in him because he knew a lot about arts, crafts, and natural flora. In September 2011, they asked him to come to their reservation to talk about his findings. Mel came to visit, and the Native Americans, who knew a lot about plant-based medicine, were intrigued in what he had found. Mel told us about some unusual plants he had grown near a hole he knew about that was intriguing. In response, they brought him to another hole on their land, which was in a village where Basque family had raised sheep in Nevada for a long time. The Basque people thought of this pit as a holy place. This new hole looked like Mel's, but it had a metal edge instead of a stone one. The metal gave off a strange warmth that was different from normal heat. It also took in weird sounds and scared animals, just like Mel's hole. Some people even observed a black beam coming out of it, which looked like Mel's hole. The villagers and Mel decided to do some tests. They put a bucket of store-bought ice in the hole and kept another bucket on the surface to watch if the ice would melt. The ice in the hole stayed frozen, and when they tried to melt it over a fire, it caught fire instead. The flames were hot, yet they weren't like regular flames. Someone even used some of the burning ice to heat their home. The bucket experiment didn't work out, and they thought of lowering someone into the hole but decided against it because of the ice's behavior. They put a sheep in the hole instead. The sheep didn't want to come close, so it was put in a cage and lowered. The sheep stopped moving, and all noise stopped as soon as the crate was over the hole. When they got the sheep back, it was dead, but appeared okay on the outside. Inside, though, it was cooked, and there was a bizarre growth with something alive in it. They decided not to kill the creature, and it went back to the hole on its own. Everyone was shocked and moved by this strange event. As Mel kept finding unexplained gaps, a new chapter in his life began, connecting his health problems to these riddles. Mel got terrible news in late summer 2011. He had terminal esophageal cancer and only had a few months to live. Mel felt like he had to dig further into the holes because he thought they might hold the answer to his recovery, now that he knew he was going to die soon. Mel set out on what he felt could be his last mission to find out the secrets of the pits, since he was in a hurry. During this time, Native Americans in Nevada contacted Mel because they thought his ideas may help explain their strange hole. Mel said yes to their invitation, hoping to find the answers he was looking for. Mel and the Native Americans started looking into things again as they got to the second hole. After one of their tests, something very strange happened. A creature came out of the hole that looked like the one they saw after the sheep incident, but seemed smarter. The monster looked Mel in the eye and spoke to her in a way that went beyond words, giving her a very important message concerning the holes and their powers. Mel had a surprising burst of energy after the meeting, which significantly affected him. Over the next few days, his cancer started to get better in a way that doctors couldn't explain. Doctors were confused by his sudden recovery, but Mel thought it had something to do with his meeting with the creature from the hole. While Mel was trying to figure out what his better health meant, another piece of the story came to light. The Native Americans who saw the strange things happen offered Mel a strange 1943 Roosevelt dime they had found near the hole. The dime had some strange things about it, like a mint mark that wasn't there, and a strange mix of metals. The Native Americans thought that the dime might hold the key to the hole's mysteries and powers. Mel and the Native Americans played with the dime and found that it could disappear when held at a distance, just like the holes. It was also hard to scan and photograph, which made it much more mysterious. People who believed and didn't believe were both interested in the story of Mel's recuperation and the mysterious dime. Some people thought it was proof that the hole had magical powers, while others thought it was just a coincidence or a lie. Still, Mel felt sure that what he had experienced was real and could help us learn more about the world. People that came across Mel's hole and Nevada's second hole were still interested in the strange things that were happening there. As attention intensified, a strange substance called burning ice appeared. This substance, which had strange effects, spread beyond the holes, setting off a chain of events that no one saw coming. It all began with a Basque man who lived in a small, isolated ethnic group in Nevada. He was interested in the reports of the flaming ice near the second hole, so he got a sample and took it back to his small tent. He didn't know that this seemingly harmless deed would set off a series of events that would make us question what we know about the natural world. The Basque man chose to burn the ice in his wood stove because he wanted to utilize it. At first, everything seemed normal. The ice burned continuously, keeping things warm. But as time went on, he noticed strange things happening around him. The cabin's air got too dry, making him always thirsty and demanding more water. The walls and furniture of his hut started to break down quickly, turning into fine dust. It looked like the burning ice was sucking up all the liquid around it, leaving the cabin an empty shell. The Basque man was upset by these developments, so he sought to take the burning ice off of his stove. However, he discovered that it had somehow fused with the floor of the cabin, creating a bizarre mix of metal and wood. The news of his plight got to the authorities, who sent a group of experts and officials. When they got there, they saw that the stove had sunk deep into the ground, leaving behind a smooth, spherical pit with glassy walls. They knew how serious it could be, so they blocked off the area and brought in special tools to get the stove out of its underground trap. Even with the newest technologies, the extraction was hard. The blazing ice wouldn't come off, sticking to the stove and the ground around it. As the work went on, the team started to feel uneasy. People thought the flaming ice was breaking the rules of physics, that it was like Kurt Vonnegut's made-up Ice 9, which might freeze the whole globe. If this drug got out or fell into the wrong hands, it might have terrible ramifications on the whole world. Officials and scientists talked about ways to confine this strange substance and whether more investigation was needed. At the same time, Mel Waters, who was watching from a distance, felt a link between the burning ice and the holes he had seen. The parallels and their big effects on the environment pointed to a connection that couldn't be ignored. As things progressed, the mystery of Mel's hole and its Nevada equivalent deepened, leaving many questions unanswered and keeping everyone who followed the narrative interested. It's time for today's subscription pick. Scientists have finally figured out what Mel's hole is, and it's not what most people thought it was. There is a hidden surprise in the middle of the Pacific Northwest. For years, both residents and adventurers were interested in Mel's hole. Some people felt it was a door to another realm, while others imagined it housed gold. But new research has shown that Mel's hole is not a gateway or a treasure chest. It's just a really deep natural structure, though. The true shock happened when the explorers got to the bottom and found a whole new world. This underground world was full of strange and amazing species dwelling in caves that were cut off from the rest of the world. But the discovery brought forth additional problems. People's curiosity could have harmed the one-of-a-kind ecology. The researchers had accidentally found a safe place for animals that were considered to be extinct or mythological, which led to quick measures to conserve it. Are there still secrets lying under Mel's hole that we don't know about? Please leave your comments below. The weird way supernatural beings talk to each other. As the inquiry into Mel's hole and a second hole in Nevada that was also enigmatic went on, fresh information came to light concerning the strange beings that were seen. People from Native American tribes who were watching the second hole reported strange things happening that shifted the direction of the research. They said that the monster they had seen before, during the sheep incident, had come back and was now using an old boombox to talk. The boombox made pulsing sounds and vibrations that caught Mel Waters and his team's attention. They decided to go to the reservation to see what was going on. When they got there, they saw something strange. The boombox by the hole made a low sound that seemed to come from deep within the earth. The sounds changed into patterns that were hard to understand. Native Americans said they had figured out what the rock flyer, an ancient being that lived before humans, was trying to say. People said that rock flyers lived underground and were good at finding their way through tunnels and caves. The creature's message warned against exploring the holes since they could lead to other planets and dimensions that could be very dangerous. The most frightening part was the warning that things people do could be causing serious problems, including melting ice and other strange things. Mel and the researchers were quite upset at how serious the situation was. The holes weren't just interesting geological features. They could be doors to other worlds. The Native Americans thought the holes were holy, and the messages from the monster confirmed what they already believed. They highlighted that people should be careful and respectful when dealing with these strange things. Mel realized how serious the situation was after going through it. He knew that the future of humanity might depend on figuring out what the gaps are hiding and how to live with whatever is on the other side. Scientists, government entities, and conspiracy theorists all became interested in the creature's signals as they spread. Some people thought it was proof of life on other planets, while others thought it was a fraud or a mistake. Even though there were misgivings, people were more and more interested in the holes and what might live in them. People in conspiracy circles had already heard about Mel's Hole because of its purported powers, like being bottomless and bringing dead animals back to life. The second hole in Nevada wasn't as well known, but it had some of the same features, which made both sites even more mysterious. The inquiry became more interesting when Native American groups became involved. This showed how deeply connected they are to the land, and how important it is for them to save its secrets. Their interpretations of the creature's signals mixed old and new ideas, showing that traditional wisdom is still useful today. Myths from many civilizations talk of subterranean creatures, like the rock flyers. This shows that people have been interested in what is beneath the Earth's surface for a long time. These similarities show that people have always been interested in the unknown. The warnings concerning parallel universes and the dangers of human involvement are in line with modern physics theories like the multiverse and the butterfly effect. Investigating these linkages may unify various disciplines and deepen our comprehension of global enigmas. As more people became interested in the holes, it was important to think carefully about how to deal with them, taking into account all the different points of view. The riddles of Mel's Hole and its Nevada equivalent show how people are always trying to learn more about the world, whether they are scientists, cultural experts, or spiritual seekers. Mel used symbols, noises, and mental connections to talk to the strange creature with the help of Native Americans. These experiences changed the way Mel saw the world, and his vivid dreams made him think he knew things that were beyond human understanding. As time went on, Mel's relationship with the creature and the Native American culture grew stronger. The pit that used to scare people became a place to learn and connect between worlds. As Mel's experiences became more well-known, people from all walks of life became interested in the hole's secrets. This made Native Americans have to balance this curiosity with protecting the place. Mel became a mediator because he saw how important their results were and pushed for a respectful approach to information. The monster stood for the many unknowns in the universe, which sparked conversations throughout the world concerning life and existence outside of Earth. The creature eventually went back to the depths, leaving behind unanswered questions and a group that had been deeply affected by what they had seen. Even though everything was gone, Mel kept going back to the hole to think about his travels and tell his narrative. He told others to stay open to the unknown, stressing how important it is to be curious and explore. What do you think about the interesting discovery about Mel's hole? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below.